Good afternoon and welcome to our Go Big AI webcast today. We're probably going to wait about 20 or 30 more seconds to let people get signed in. Hope everybody is enjoying their Wednesday halfway through the week. It's very hot here in central Pennsylvania where Chris and I are. Very hot. Oof.
I'm going with the air conditioner today, Bill. I have no choice.
Yeah,
Last
I
week
heard there was
last week I did without it, and I was sweating bullets by the time we got to the end.
Yeah, I can imagine. Especially, well, today would be even worse. All right, we're going to get started. My name is Bill Daber. I am a senior marketing manager at D&H. I oversee Go Big AI, and you may recognize me from such D&H originals as Azure Isn't Scary and the CSP webinar that I just hosted yesterday for Microsoft. And alongside me, I have the privilege of having Chris Phillips with us. He is fantastic and probably responsible for most of the very cool videos you've watched on D&H. So very excited to be here on the webinar with him today. Thank you so much. So Chris, why don't I kick it over to you? What are we here to talk about today?
Yeah, you'll remember me from such D&H productions as pretty much all of them. So I think me and Trevor Schubert get the distinction of that. Today we're going to talk about a couple of great new additions to not only Copilot Plus PCs and those devices, but kind of AI, the AI Copilot infrastructure in general. We'll be going over the new 64, man, the heaters are getting to me, x86 processor Copilot Plus systems from AMD and Intel. We'll be talking about the new Copilot Plus 2 Wave 2 features. We'll be doing some demos on Recall, Live Translate, and we'll also be taking a look at how to automate agents inside of Copilot Studio. So a lot of great things to get to today. We have a bunch of demos loaded up on the back end. If you joined me in past years, it's kind of going to feel like an old Solutions Lab video because we have about 35 minutes of great demos we want to show you today. But before we get to those demos, I do kind of want to talk about how we've gotten to the point today. And we're going to start off on the hardware side of these Copilot Plus PCs. Back in the fall of 2024, the first wave of Copilot Plus PCs hit the market. Those were all powered by Qualcomm Snapdragon processors. They were running on the ARM architecture. When these things released, they brought a great new wave of AI features to the market in the form of the Wave 1 features that we'll talk about in a second. The devices themselves were fairly well received. They did a great job of emulating x86 software within the ARM architecture, so there was very little loss of ability when you use those ARM-based systems. Now here we are in the spring and the summer of 2025, we're starting to see those native x86 Copilot Plus PCs hit the market with the release of AMD's Ryzen AI 300 series and Intel's Core Ultra 200V series processors. Those both have NPUs in them with over 40 TOPS, which make them qualify for the Copilot Plus PCs. And all the demos that I'm going to be running today are running in either an AMD solution or an Intel solution. So everything you're going to see today is running off of these new x86 build Copilot Plus PCs. But from a overall system usability standpoint, all these computers operate basically the same. They're all going to run all the features that we're going to look at today, and they're going to run all the same software that you're kind of using on a regular basis. Before we kind of get into Copilot Plus features and kind of showing some things off, I do want to push out a poll question. I do want to know how many of you have used Recall, which is one of the more polarizing features, I guess you could say, when these Copilot Plus PCs hit the market. Because when they hit the market, they had a bunch of new features that we'd seen, but Recall was the one that had really caught everyone's attention, not only for its ability to be able to search for what you've done on the web, or excuse me, what you've done on your computer, but also the security risks that might come into play with having that much power over the ability to search through a computer. So we saw computers come out and the Wave 1 having the co-create feature, which was more or less being able to create images in Paint using AI. Image restyling was basically the same. Neither one of those had a great business application. I think when you get into features that had great business applications, you're talking about live captions, which we'll do a demo of today, that introduce live translations, which are able to take any language that's spoken on your Copilot Plus PC and translate it to the language you've selected. So if you selected English on your system and you have a Spanish dialogue, whether it's a phone call, a video, come into your system, the Copilot Plus PC will instantly, and without you having to select the language, translate that for you. I think it's a great feature. We'll talk about that today. And then we had Recall, which was part of Wave 1, but didn't really kind of hit the mass market until these Wave 2 features came out, because it was held back to upgrade the security in it. We're going to show you all about the security features of Recall and hopefully demystify that a little bit. Then we got into these Copilot Wave 2 PCs, and they added a bunch of new features. Click to Do, if you joined us for the SMB Unite webcast last week, I showed a quick demo of Click to Do. Is a great AI overlay that you can enable on a Copilot Plus PC to help you interact with what you're seeing on the screen, whether you need to regenerate some text or you want to manipulate an image that you see on the screen. It puts all those AI features directly at your fingertips rather than you having to search through a bunch of applications to do that. It has improved Windows search, which I didn't even recognize that I needed until I had it. Basically, these Copilot Plus PCs are now re-indexing everything that's on your computer and picking up on more than just file names and keywords that existed within your document, and picking up on general tones of what a document's for. If you're like, hey, I need I'm looking for my budget from last year, and you didn't name the file budget, and there's nothing in the file that says budget, but it can index it and go, hey, that looks like a budget, and we'll surface that for you. So the improved Windows search is something that you kind of have to play with and kind of see how it works. And then super resolution is more of, again, a consumer feature that allows you to up-res images. But I do want to kind of look to the poll question here and push out the answer. Have you used Recall? This is exactly why I created the Recall demo today, because only 4% of you have. 95% of you haven't, and for good reason. It's like I said at the top, it was a polarizing issue. People wanted to know whether it was safe to enable it on their systems at all, and didn't even understand the benefits of having it enabled on your system. So before we kind of go any further and kind of drown down about any of these features, I think it's just time to jump right in and show you guys Recall. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a full demo of Recall. I'm going to walk you through step by step of how you get Recall started on a system, the settings you have to manage Recall once it's enabled, and then what you can do with Recall once it is enabled. So we're going to go ahead and roll that demo for you. So here we are on the system that we're going to be demoing the setup for Windows Recall on. This is a Dell Pro system running the Intel Core Ultra 7 268V processor. So it's a great system that has all the Copilot Plus features right out of the box. And what I've done is I've actually went ahead and reset this PC to pretty much the factory settings. The only thing I've done on this PC is go through the initial setup and created an account for myself and set a user pin. I haven't done any other things to this PC other than just basically set it up. So this is kind of the first time you're seeing this PC after it came out of the high splash screen that you see the first time you set up a Windows PC. And the one thing I want to note right off the bat is that right now in its current state, I cannot disable Recall. And the reason I can't disable Recall, and the reason you can't disable Recall out of the box, is because it's never enabled to begin. When you first boot up a Windows 11 PC that is a Copilot Plus PC that has the ability to do Recall, it will not be turned on out of the box. It is something that you have to opt into rather than something you have to opt out of. So even if I go into the Windows and the settings, and we search for Recall, you're going to see that Recall is disabled out of the box. It is currently set to off. In fact, it will not even turn on until I set up Windows Hello. That is the first prerequisite to To having snapshot enabled, you must have Windows Hello, which requires you to have a facial or fingerprint recognition on the device before you can even use it. It's an extra level of security that I'll show you why it has that extra level of security once we get snapshots set up. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually set up Windows Hello so I can begin to enable recall for you. So I'm going to just go ahead and open that settings option, and it's going to take me through the Windows Hello wizard. I'm going to hit get started. It's going to ask me for my current PIN. I'll put that in there, and it's going to go ahead and open up my camera. Now I am going to blur this out on your guys' screen, but on my screen, it is kind of just doing a visual scan of my face to set up the camera, and there you go. It is all set. So now I've got Windows Hello enabled on this system. I can begin to start to decide if I want to bring recall into this system as well. I'm going to back up one screen, and now I have the ability to turn on recall. Before I turn it on, I do want to kind of show a couple of options you do have. Under the storage tab, you have the ability to manage the maximum number of screenshots that Snapshot will take, and how long those screenshots are held for. One of the prerequisites that we talked about previously on previous broadcasts is that these Copilot PCs must have at least 250 gigabytes of storage on the device, and this is kind of the main reason why, is because Snapshot can, take up quite a bit of that information, just storing snapshots for recall. You can keep it, kind of as low as you want or as high as you want. You can also kind of see, once you've got recall rolling, how much of the overall system storage the recall information is taking up. It'll be available here as well. But because we haven't set up recall yet, we don't have any of that information available. The next thing I did want to show is that you can, at any time, if there was a situation where you realize that there was sensitive information that was on your system, or you just for whatever reason want to delete snapshots from recall, you can come into this menu and begin to delete recall snapshots. You can do it for the past hour, 24 hours, 7 days, 30 days, or you can just straight up delete them all if you want to kind of purge all your recall snapshots and then go forward with a fresh recall. You can do that as well. In the filters tab, that does have the ability to filter out sensitive information. So essentially, recall will look at a snapshot it takes, and if it's seeing things like passwords or credit card information, it will blur that out. You can start to filter apps and websites. So if there's certain apps or websites that you do not want Snapshot to take pictures of at all, you can go ahead and do that. So on the app list, and because this is kind of out of the box, I don't even know. I do have it. Excel is on this system already. Great. I don't want Snapshot taking any, or recall taking any snapshots of anything that happens in Excel. I can go ahead and say, hey, nope, Excel, when I'm in Excel, do not take snapshots as part of recall. So you can do that on a per app basis. You can do it on a per website basis. It's right there. And then the websites is right there as well. So if you have specific banking websites you don't want recall to take snapshots of, or company-specific websites that you don't want recall to take snapshots of, you can go ahead and add those in as well. Under the advanced features, you can just go ahead and reset recall if you just need again, another clean slate. If you want to reset all the settings in recall, that's available for you as well. But that's all the settings you have kind of pre-rolling recall. I'm going to go ahead and open up recall for the first time, so it's starting to save snapshots. So go ahead and do that. It's going to again answer or ask for my PIN. I'll enter it, and you're going to see in the corner here this little icon popped up, and this is to let us know that, hey, recall is now saving snapshots. So if you see this icon in the bottom of your tray bar, that's the icon that lets you know that recall is saving snapshots. So now that we've got recall set up on this system, and it's grabbing snapshots. I'm going to actually move over to a different system to kind of show you what recall looks like as it's been working for about a month on a system, and we'll go through what you can do with recall enabled on your system. So here we are. I've jumped over to another system that has had recall enabled for a little bit because I want to be able to show you what those features look like when you have recall enabled for a little bit of time. This system is a AMD Ryzen AI 7 Pro 360 system. It is from HP as well. It's the HP EliteBook version of this. Again, 32 gigs of RAM. Again, it's been a great overall system and came with all the Copilot Plus features right out of the box. So the first thing I kind of want to show is we're going to go back to that icon that we showed a little bit earlier, showing that recall is taking snapshots. As you can see, the icon has changed a little bit. Right now it's saying recall is saving snapshots, but one or more windows are filtered. That's because I have Excel open, and because I have a instance of Excel open, recall knows that anytime that it takes a screenshot of this computer that's got this app open, it needs to filter out this app. So if you see this icon and it's changed a little bit, that just notates to you that, hey, one or more of the elements on your screen are currently being filtered. So kind of keep your eye out for that as you go through recall. But we are going to open up recall for the first time here. And when I do, you remember when we set it up, it required us to have Windows Hello set up, and this is why. Because anytime you open up Windows Recall, you're going to need to sign in with Windows Hello. It's an added security feature that doesn't allow anyone who isn't you to view your recall data. So if you're a type of person like me who signs into their computer at work and then needs to get up and go to the bathroom, get something to drink, and never bothers to lock their computer, no one's going to be able to come to your computer, open up recall, and look at the data that exists within recall for you. They're going to again need to sign in with Windows Hello. Because of the camera I have it covered right now, it can't see me. It's not going to let me into recall to see any of the data. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to uncover my camera so Hello can see me. And there you go. It's seen me. It says hello, Chris Phillips, and we're good to go. We're going to open up recall. And you can kind of see the first thing that recall is pulling up is that task manager that we saw earlier that I was showing you the specs of the system that we're using. And that's what kind of recall does. It just constantly takes pictures of what's happening on your computer, that it can both search both the text and the visual elements that are happening on the screen to be able to search for things that you may have seen in the past. A good example of this is I was searching for red controllers because I was looking for a new Xbox controller. So I'm going to go up here and type in red controller. And there you go. Recall has not only found text matching red controller, but it's also found a visual cue matching red controller. So even if you were on a website that had a red pair of sneakers, but it didn't physically say the words red sneakers, Recall and the Copilot Plus PCs can kind of use the NPU that's on the device to do a visual search for those items as well and bring up those results. What you can do from there is I'm actually going to click on the result there, and what you might have noticed is the click to do interface has kind of come up. And if you remember from kind of past demos, click to do allows you to be able to start to click on these screenshots and be able to manipulate them. The good thing I can do with this one is because click to do has pulled up this URL, I can just click on the URL again and pull that website back up. So even if this was months ago that I had found this red controller and I'm now ready to buy it, but I couldn't remember what website I found it on, I can go into Recall, type in red controller, it would pull up the website, and I can click on that website, or I can pull up the screenshot, find the red controller, it would pull up the screenshot, and then from that screenshot I can then pull up the website and then get back into what I was doing. So a great feature for searching things for things not only just on a text level, but a visual level as well. I do also want to kind of come back down to the recall button that is in the taskbar. I'm going to click on it because it brings up a couple extra features that allow us to continue to customize recall to our liking. First of all, foremost, what you can do is you can just pause recall outright for the rest of the day. If you just say, hey, I don't need recall taking any more snapshots for what I'm doing for the rest of the day. You can just immediately go down there and pause it right now. If you're on a banking website and you want recall to no longer be able to view that banking site, you can immediately, right from this screen, just filter out that web page when you are on it. So right now I'm on dnh.com. I can go ahead and just filter that right on dnh.com. If I go to any other websites that I want to filter, I can just type it in and then pull up this menu and filter it right from here. So overall, I think Recall is a very powerful tool. They have a lot of customization features to keep it as secure as you would like. So now that you kind of have this education, you can kind of go out there and hopefully quell some fears about these Copilot Plus PCs and this recall feature, because I think there's a lot of great tech in here to help keep your privacy safe while also allowing you to be able to do some great search abilities on the system to be able to find things and interact with things that you'd seen in the past and pull them back up to the future.
Chris, I believe that your mic may not have come back online.
I was literally saying that I'm having internet issues here, so I'm glad I did the I'm glad I recorded with the internet. There was a question Nathan had about the recall demo there. Wanted to know if the Intel Ultra 9 275HX processor is compatible with recall Copilot features. The answer to that is no. It's only the Intel Ultra 200V series. So the V series is the one that has the MPU that's required for Copilot Plus PCs. So that one, those are the ones you're going to be looking for. It's the 200V series. Do you have to enter a site before you can filter it? The answer to that is no. During the setup for that demo, I did show that even before I had clicked on recall to turn it on, I had the ability to filter out programs, which I filtered on Excel, and then that box right underneath it was filter out websites. So you click on that one, enter the website you want to filter out, you're done. So you can do it either way. These are also I do want to mention and state for the record that if you are someone that uses Microsoft Autopilot and Microsoft Intune to manage devices, Recall is completely manageable within those two programs as well. So for the Autopilot, you can set up whether it's enabled or disabled out of the box. It is disabled out of the box. It's set to 0, which is disabled, I believe, in the Intune settings. But I had it confirmed from Richie, who's our Microsoft Autopilot guru. He checked it for me. It is enabled out of the box. And then within Intune, you can set up the specific parameters you want for every system that you have under your management. You can have a policy that certain applications are filtered out, certain websites are filtered out. So these are all things you can customize through Intune as well. So something to keep in mind is that there. And I think Jamie just asked that question: can recall be managed via policies? Yes. The answer to that one is yes. Will this work with desktops with GPUs like the RTX 5070? I wish. Mostly because I use a desktop PC 80% of the time. I've been very happy with these Copilot Plus PCs, and I'm now getting to the point where I'm sad that I don't have these features when I sit down on my studio PC that is a desktop. Now, what I can say is, and Bill, you can correct me if I'm wrong, AMD and Intel will be bringing the NPUs to their desktop systems at the end of the year, correct?
Yeah, that's what our understanding is. I mean, obviously they haven't announced any specific models or anything, but they have definitely said that desktop is the next place that we'll see Copilot Plus.
So you'll soon be able to have the NPU directly on the desktop and handle that as well. Maybe at some point down the line, Microsoft will allow Copilot Plus PCs that have GPUs, but they have not said anything that's in any of their plans. So I would not bet on it. Okay, so if you guys have any more questions about recall, we'll go ahead and answer those as we see them after these next two demos. But we do want to move forward because we have a quick demo on Live Translate, and then we have a very, very in-depth demo on Copilot Studio and Copilot Agents. So we're going to move forward to the Copilot Live Translate demo, and we're going to take a look how to set up live translation on Copilot Plus PCs. We've gone back to the newly set up Copilot Plus PC because I want to show you a new feature that exists within Copilot Plus PCs called Live Translation. Now, it is a part of Live Captions, and Live Captions has been something that has existed in Windows 11 systems for quite some time. And what Live Captions allows you to do is to take English audio or any audio of a single language that you've selected and be able to have that audio captioned in that language for you at the bottom of the screen. This was more of an accessibility feature that helped people that were hard of hearing still be able to understand audio as it came through the system. But on the Copilot Plus PCs, they've upgraded live captions to include live captions with translations. So I'm setting up live captions for the first time, and it's asking me, hey, do you want to set up live captions with translations? Absolutely. We're going to click on yes here, and it's going to go through the setup process for the first time. And it's going to go ahead and download the language files it needs. I'm going to go ahead and change the position of this so we can kind of see it a little bit better. And as you can see here, it's starting to download the language files it's going to need, because it's going to need not only English, but it's going to need several other languages so it can go ahead and do the live translations for us. All right, the download's completed, and I've set up a couple of things on the screen. I have the task manager over here on the right, so we can see the MPU usage. I've gone ahead and loaded up some multi-language videos over here on the left. And as you can see at the bottom, Live Captions says it's ready to go, and it's asking us which language we would like to have everything translated into. Defaults to English. Obviously, though, you can select from a variety of different languages: Chinese, Dutch, English, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Portuguese, and Spanish, just to name a few. We're going to go ahead and just pick English here, and it's going to say, hey, we're going to get ready to make the live translations into English, and it's ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and play this first video. It's in French, and watch what happens.
Bonjour maman. Bonjour ma chère. Qu'est-ce que tu veux pour ton petit déjeuner? Du thé ou du café?
So without even selecting French as a language, it automatically detected it. Now I'm going to move over to a different language.
请问你是美国人吗？不是。你会说汉语吗？会，但是说得不太好。
Again, didn't have to tell Windows 11 or the Copilot Plus PC what language was coming. It knew it was French and translated French to English. Then I quickly switched over to a Chinese video, and it seamlessly switched from French to Chinese and then translated that to English as well. So great feature. As you can see over there on the right side, it was running all on the NPU, so none of that data goes to the cloud, so it's all secure and stored on your device. So this is a great accessibility feature that they've turned into a business production feature, and we'll see this kind of get expanded upon and integrated into pieces of software like Teams in the near future. Thank you, Chris, for that video. Again, it was showing another great feature that's utilizing these NPUs that are already on the system to do AI without having to access the cloud. If that would be something that would be almost impossible if you had to play audio on your system, it had to go to the cloud, it had to analyze the audio and bring it back down to your system and then give you the captions. That whole loop would be impossible. The only way a feature like that is possible is if you had a powerful NPU on your device to be able to do that. So that's the kind of technology that we're starting to see unlocked by these NPUs. I did mention at the end of the video, that's a feature that that Microsoft is looking to roll out directly into Teams. So if you're having a Teams meeting and there is someone who is speaking a language or a dialogue that you do not speak, you'll be able to click on that person and have that person translated to your selected language, and it will happen on the fly as they're speaking. So that, again, that whole loop is followed by the NPU. That wouldn't be able to happen in the cloud. So there's more and more reasons why you should be considering these Copilot Plus PCs, because you're starting to see the software catch up to them. Does it translate videos in Chinese from YouTube? What I was showing you in that demo were 2 YouTube videos, actually. It will do any audio source. So if someone were, I did try this with someone from D&H Canada. Our Canadian division has a strong contingency of people that speak French, because they operate in Quebec. So we have to have a couple of native French-speaking people on staff. So I called one of my D&H Canada colleagues who knew how to speak French and had them just speak to me in French and have that translated on, and that was being translated on my Copilot Plus PC to English. Now I could only reply to them in English, then they only heard me in English. But if they had a Copilot Plus PC too, they could set up their PC to then switch my English to French, and then we could have an active conversation just like that. But like I said, hopefully in the future we'll start to see that integrated directly into applications like Teams. Can I host a meeting in English and have it translated to multiple languages at the same time? Again, that it really depends on how many people have the Copilot Plus PCs in the actual meeting. I think once more and more of these systems that we're using have these NPUs on it, it'll just become a feature that we take for granted, because it's just going to be there all the time. I think that's going to be it then for Live Translate. Again, if there's any more questions after this, please feel free to ask them. But I want to get into our last demo here. It is the longest demo we're going to show, but it is actually probably one of the most substantive demos that you're going to find on Copilot Studio. If you were with us last week, I did create an agent within Copilot Studio, and an agent is kind of a smaller subsection or a smaller specific instance of Copilot that you can create. You can give it specific knowledge and a specific purpose, and it will then help you out through that purpose. What the issue with that agent, though, was it was always just kind of living in a chatbot. It wouldn't branch out from that chatbot. If I didn't go to that chatbot, it would never interact with me at all. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take that chatbot and we're going to make it autonomous. We're going to point it at my Outlook box. It's going to start looking at all the emails that are coming into my Outlook box, seeing where it can help out with answering questions for me. And then when it finds an email that it can help out with, it's going to jump in and then send me a message going, hey, I've done some research on the question that was asked. I have an answer. Here it is. So I don't even have to spend time researching it. By the time I get to the question, I've already had the agent in my box answering the question. So I'm going to show you how to set it up. I'm hoping after you go through this video, you'll kind of realize that, hey, these Copilot agents are really easy to set up, and you'll think of a variety of different ways that you can kind of use them in your general workflow. So let's get to that. All right, now that we have our Dell Pro system set up, running the Intel Core Ultra 7 268V processor, we're going to move on to the next demo, and we're going to take a look at our Copilot Studio. If you've been following us recently, we've been setting up a Copilot agent. This Copilot agent is designed to kind of help out with field hockey questions. We've given it a knowledge base around field hockey questions. It's got the rules of field hockey and some general PDFs about kind of the rules of the league that this field hockey agent is supposed to be knowledgeable in and help answer questions. And last time we ran this agent, it did a really good job. We asked the agent to use the knowledge to answer questions about field hockey, limiting the amount of information that's coming from the outside web, because we didn't want it to hallucinate or come up with the answers that didn't apply to our league, and we didn't want to answer any questions that weren't about field hockey at all. And when we tested it, it did fairly well. I'm going to go ahead and test it again and go, how many players on each team? And we'll let Tony here answer that question. And there you go. Each field hockey team consists of maximum of 11 players on the field. So again, it looked at the knowledge base, as you can see right there, and answered our question. And if we ask it a question that isn't about field hockey, what color is the sky? Tony does as instructed, and since that was not a question about field hockey, it just didn't answer it, so it asked if you could rephrase the question or ask a question about our field hockey league. So Tony operating exactly as we set him up, but now we want to take Tony to the next level. We want to make him automated agent, an agent that does not need our input in this little chat window to activate, to help us answer and research questions. What I want Tony to do is be able to look through my email, determine whether that email has anything to do with field hockey. And if it does, Tony jumps in, comes up with a response for that email, and then sends me that response so I don't have to do all the research myself. So Tony's going to do all the research for me after that email comes in, sends me the research, and then I can just take that research that Tony did and send that over to the person that's asking the question if I feel that's appropriate. But I want that to happen all autonomously. I do not want to have any input on that. I don't want to trigger Tony to do it. So we're going to go ahead and set up Tony to work a little bit more autonomously, and we're going to do it through a couple of different tools. So first and foremost, I do want to kind of enable something that I've had disabled for a little bit here, and that is this orchestrate button. This allows Tony to determine what the best course of method would be for handling these requests using the knowledge we have, the tools that are available to him, and the triggers that will occur that will set up both of these in a couple seconds. So we're going to turn this orchestration on so that Tony can go ahead and use the tools and the information that we're giving him to handle the task we're going to give it. And the next thing we're going to do is kind of change these general instructions. And the great thing about Copilot Studio is you don't need any complex coding knowledge to be able to code an agent and tell it what to do. You can just tell the agent what you want to do in simple English. So I'm going to go ahead and update this. I've got a couple of responses built in right here. So I'm going to change the description of Tony, since now he's going to be a more autonomous bot. He's going to help me research by looking through my email, searching for questions about field hockey, and then research for me the answers. So changing his purpose a little bit. And the general instructions, and again, this is where it kind of comes to, you don't need any coding to be able to tell an agent what to do. Here's kind of the essentially the code I want Tony to follow. When a new email arises in my box, I want it to take a look at it, see if it has anything to do with field hockey, and use the available knowledge we've given it to research the questions posed and suggest answers. You do kind of have to write this kind of in a first person or a third person type of mode, so you're writing this kind of like as Tony's instructions. So when you write "I then will," you're actually kind of speaking for the agent at that point. So the agent will then reply using the send an email V2 action, which we'll set up in a little bit, to send the research to me. It's going to format it in HTML. It's going to format it in a professional manner as if it's replying to a customer. Each question will have separate paragraphs detailing all the references used. The responses will have charts and tables where appropriate, just other general guidelines I gave it. And he will use the information he has rather than using the general web. And this is the kind of the most important one. If the email has no questions about field hockey or no questions that it can help with, Tony will do nothing. So emails can continue to flow into my inbox, and Tony won't mess with those. All he'll do is be looking for ones that have to do with field hockey, and he'll address those. So we've kind of updated his details here. We're going to go ahead and click on save to save those details. All right. Now that we've kind of updated Tony's description and his general instructions, which is basically the code of what he's going to run off of, we can go ahead and go ahead down here to tools and triggers. And this is what we kind of use to help make Tony a little bit more autonomous. This is kind of operates in reverse. I'm going to set up triggers first because that's usually the thing that happens that makes Tony jump into action. So when I go ahead and add a trigger, and the trigger I want to look for is, it's going to be in 365 Office, or excuse me, Outlook. There it is, when a new email arrives. So I'm going to go ahead and click on next. And now it's going to go through and make sure that this trigger is connected to all the services it needs, and it's all signed in. So it needs to access Copilot Studio with my login credentials, and it needs to access Microsoft Outlook with my credentials, and I can do both. So we're going to go ahead and click on Next. And Next is going to ask us some basic questions about, hey, what folder do I need to check for new emails? So I'm going to go ahead and click on this folder icon. It's going to go ahead and load what I have, and I'm just going to come down here all the way to Inbox because that's where all my emails usually come in at. I'm going to click on Inbox because that's the folder I want it. And all these other ones can stay the same, but you can set it up to only activate when certain people email you, or if it's to certain people, or it's from certain people, or if it has attachments, or there's a certain thing in the subject field. So there's a bunch of different ways you can kind of set up the trigger to activate only when you want it to activate. But in this case, since Tony is going to be deciding which emails he deals with, I want him to be able to see everything, so it's going to activate just any time an email hits my inbox. So we're going to hit Create Trigger, and it's going to take a second to create this trigger. This does usually take about a minute, so don't get too worried if it takes a little bit of time, because now it's going ahead and adding that trigger right now. And there we go. It's going to tell us it's time to test our trigger. We're not going to test the trigger at the moment. We're going to kind of move on to the next thing. We'll get to testing in a little bit. So I'm going to hit close here. All right, so now that we have the trigger, now we know, now we've given Tony the tool that it needs to connect to our inbox. And anytime a new email comes in, Tony's going to activate and check to see if it has anything to do with field hockey. And if it does, it's going to answer that question and send us the research back. But it can't send us the research back without giving it the tools to do it. And that tool we're going to need to do it is that send an email V2 action that we referenced up here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Tools here, and I'm going to click on the Office 365 Outlook. There's a ton of different tools you can give Tony, so I really encourage you to experiment with all these tools when you're building out your agents. But there's our send an email, and then it's going to want you to connect that email. This is kind of similar to what we do with the triggers. You're going to want you to make sure you're connected to Office 365 Outlook. I'm going to go ahead and add and configure, because I do want to do a little bit of configuration to this tool prior to us completing the ad. So the tool was added to our agent, but we want to modify some things real quick here. The one thing I want to do is modify the inputs. As you can see right now, the AI is dynamically filling the to field, the subject field, and the body field. I don't want the AI to dynamically figure out the to field. I want it to always come to me. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my email here. So now, anytime the agent Tony sends us a email, it's just going to send us directly to our email every time. I'm going to leave the subject and the body as dynamic, because obviously Tony's going to figure out what the question is and update the subject and the body accordingly for us. There's no other things that we need to go ahead and do in there, but I'm going to just finish this off by hitting save. All right, Tony's all saved up. I'm going to go back out to the main here. Click on the back arrow, and that is a kind of our list of all of our tools. You can have multiple tools running at the same time. We're just going to do the one email right now. I'm going to go to overview here, and we're going to just take a look at Tony now. So we've updated Tony. He's got an updated description. He's got an updated set of general instructions that now kind of include him more being a active research assistant in my inbox. We let him know that, hey, he can use that send an email V2 action to send any responses that he finds in his research back to me. We've still got his general knowledge. We also did set up Orchestrate, as I'm going to move back up here. We did set up Orchestrate for Tony, so it allows him to use all the tools that are available to him in the best way he sees fit to accomplish the goals that we've set out for him. Again, the knowledge he has available to him, and now he also has the trigger, so he can go ahead and see and read all of my emails as they come in to make sure there's any questions he can answer. He can go ahead and do that. And then he has the send an email tool that he can use to then send an email if any of the emails have applicable research that he's done for it. So next step for Tony is to kind of activate him. And the way to do that is to kind of scroll up to the top here and click on Publish. We're going to go ahead and publish Tony here. And it's going to take a couple minutes to publish Tony, but after Tony is published, he will kind of then be active, and he'll be working in my inbox, and we'll be able to kind of take a look from there how things are working out for him. So there you go. Tony looks like he is active in my inbox. We are going to go ahead and go over here to the Activities tab here. And this is where we'll be able to check out all the activities that Tony is working on as he's working on it. And off screen here, I've set up 2 emails to kind of go to my inbox. One is going to have something to do with field hockey. One isn't. So I want to see how Tony reacts to each one accordingly. First, I'm going to fire off the email that has something to do with field hockey. So we're going to head and hit send on that email. And as that email gets sent to my inbox, we're going to be able to see it come in. I'm going to go ahead and click here on my inbox. I'm going to wait for that email to come in. And there's the email coming into my inbox. Subject is number of players, and it's going to ask how many players can be on the field at once, how many players can be on a team in total. This is clearly a question about field hockey. So now we'll wait to see if Tony kind of sees this email and decides whether this is something he can answer or not based on the knowledge he has. And there you go. Really, really quickly, Tony's gotten back to us and answered, did some research based on the information that we had sent out. And now we have the answers to that person's questions right here on our inbox. We can just copy paste, reply to that person's email, and we're off and running. We didn't have to go to the agent at all to get these questions answered. We were just able to get those questions directly in our box because Tony was kind of navigating that for ourselves, looked in our box, saw something get answered, and answered it for us. I'm going to go ahead and click back on activities here real quick. And we're going to go ahead and refresh this so we can see how this last one worked out. There you can see this was the last activity that Tony worked on. We can click on that. It happened at 12:23. An email arrived. It searched its knowledge source like it has been before, and then it used the connecting action to send out our email. So just as we've described in natural text what Tony should do, the orchestrator was able to connect all the dots for us rather than us having to go through and program those dots ourselves. So this is a really, really powerful tool. Even if you don't have programming knowledge, you can still execute these sophisticated agents with just, basic English instructions to them. I'm going to go ahead and send the second email real quick. This is the email that has nothing to do with field hockey because I want to be able to show what happens when Tony sees an email that doesn't have anything to do with field hockey. We're going to go ahead and jump back into our inbox here real quick. And here's the next email. It's just a random email. It says meeting time. It's asking, am I available at 4 p.m. for the meeting? We'll go ahead and give Tony a second here real quick. Usually looks through all these emails, and what we should see back here on the activity page is another one of these statuses that say incomplete, because it's going to look through this and decide it can't do anything with it, and it's going to mark it as incomplete. So we're going to go ahead and refresh this. And there you go. That was the email about the meeting. Again, Tony was triggered. He was triggered by the email coming in, and when that new email arrived, he took a look at it. And then we can go ahead and flip this from activity map to transcript, and you can kind of see that, hey, an error has occurred. That error is just basically like, hey, this had nothing to do with field hockey, so my instructions are I can't do anything with this, so it doesn't follow any more steps, and it just kind of errors out and marks as incomplete, which is actually exactly what we wanted to do. So I got Tony set up now. He's going to actively scan my inbox as new emails come in, and if they have something to do with field hockey, he can go ahead and send me his research back into my inbox. There's other great things you can do with that. Instead of having that sent to you in your inbox, if you don't want that sent to your inbox, you can go ahead and have that sent to you via Teams. You can go ahead and add a tool for Teams. I believe it's going to be the best way to search for Teams on the tools is under Microsoft Teams. You'll get all the Teams ones. There you go. These are all the Teams ones. I feel the best one to use if you want an agent to message you is use the post message in chat or channel. I'm going to hit add and configure again like we did before. And this time I'm going to kind of instruct Tony to not send it to me via email, but now it's going to send it to me via Teams instead. So again, it's going to want to dynamically fill these with AI, but I don't want it to. Instead of posting as dynamically filled, I'm going to do a custom value, and I'm going to want it to do as the flow bot, which is kind of a general bot within Teams. You can have it send to you as, and then it's going to send it to me in chat with Flowbot. So I've got a chat in my Teams that's called Chat with Flowbot. Flowbot will come in anytime that there's a research assignment done. I'm going to make that recipient myself in Teams. And then that message is going to be dynamic because it's going to be whatever Tony's research is. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. And now, next time an email comes in that Tony can do research for, it has the ability to not only send me that message or that research via email, it can also send me that research via Teams. So you can set this up to kind of get these alerts however you want, and you can continue to explore with the triggers however you want. So if you want Tony to activate on a new row showing up in an Excel document or a new file showing up in SharePoint, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of different triggers you can go through and have any of these agents fire off on. So there's a lot of flexibility you can do in here, and there's obviously more and more to come. So there you have it. That's how you create an autonomous agent within your Outlook box or anywhere you would like it to be using Copilot Studio. It's a great feature, and I encourage you to play around with it, not be intimidated by the selections here, understanding that you can just use general English instructions and usually get your agent to do what you're looking for that agent to do. So go ahead. I encourage you to sign up for Copilot Studio under Copilot for M365 and give this a shot. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for sitting through that. It was a long demo. I do understand that, but I hope that you found there was a lot of great information in there. I've been kind of impressed with the abilities that exist within Copilot Studio to kind of build an agent exactly how you need it for your general purposes. And I think that kind of shows, at least in that video, that there's a lot of flexibility. You probably all have knowledge bases that you would like, man, it would be great if I had an agent in my box that was helping me research blank, and they can just send me the research via Teams. So that's a great way to do it. We are coming up to the end of the hour, so if you guys have any questions, we will be answering them as we go. There was a question that came in, how do you get Copilot Studio and how much is it priced? So under my understanding, and this is kind of the research I did last week, Bill, and this is kind of what my understanding of it was, Copilot Studio is available to anyone who has an active Microsoft 365 Copilot license. So if you have Copilot, if you have an Microsoft M365, and then you add the Copilot license, you should have access to Studio as well.
In typical Microsoft fashion, there's some complication to this issue, and so I'll put on I'm a Microsoft marketing manager hat for a second. So right now there are 3 consumption models for Copilot Studio. If you have Copilot for Microsoft 365, so if you have a license, that license includes access to Copilot Studio. And so there's no extra charge for that, and any agents that you build will kind of use that license. The other thing you can do is buy message packs. And so what that allows you to do, and I think it's don't quote me on the exact prices, but I believe it's about $200 a month for 25,000 messages. And what that does is
a year.
Is it a year, or is it per? I think
it's
for message package, so it's like 2,500 messages.
Yeah.
I think is what. So it's $200 for 2,500 messages. Yeah. However long that 2,500 or 25,000 messages lasts you, and each request can cost more than one message. So if it has to go out to another application, I think that it uses more messages. But basically, you buy these message packs, and as you use it, you're kind of working against that balance. The last one is a pay-as-you-go model. So basically, you don't pay anything up front, but you'll get billed in arrears for however much your model was used. So if you think in that situation, you would have to be very confident that you're not overusing messages on your requests, because you wouldn't want to end up with a bill that you wouldn't want to know.
And there's a calculator that they have available to you to kind of calculate out what your best method for running that would be. So there's ways of handling it. But to kind of answer your question, and the route that I would go, especially if you're doing something like I just showed and you're creating something autonomous for yourself, you definitely want to have that M365 Copilot license. Because I'm deploying that agent for me, I'm not deploying that agent for someone else. If I were to deploy that agent for someone else who didn't have that Copilot M365 license, then you get into what Bill was saying. And that one email that came in that he was able to answer could count as 3 messages, because it could have counted as a message for grabbing the email, doing the research, and then sending the email. So it could cost you 3 ways. So it is something you want to make sure you have a decent grasp on before you start to deploy that. But when you deploy those to the right people at the right time, in the right frequency, it can be really, really powerful tool. So do a little bit of research before you jump on and start building agents and throwing them out there to just everyone on your M365 license.
I will add that one of the biggest things that we're seeing on the cloud side is adding the ability to generate or create these agents for your customers. So we have partners who are taking the Microsoft trainings and certifications for building these agents. And once they get a handle on building the agents, that's something that they look at adding for their partners. Because when you look at the message packages, depending on the size of the organization, it is a very cost-effective way to get a very specific, knowledgeable action added to a Microsoft client system. So not just learning it to enhance your own, but if you get good and comfortable at building agents, that would be something that you could even potentially offer to your customers as well.
Yeah. And you don't have to interact with agents in this way. You can set up agents to exist within M365 Copilot Chat, which is kind of the free thing that's available to everyone that has an M365 license. You can put that agent chat right in there, and then have people interact with it directly. And then that takes the email automation out of the loop, but it reduces the number of messages it uses, and still gets that same knowledgeable agent out to people. So, there's many different ways you can set that up. But like Bill said, you can create an agent, export it, and then help your customers import it into their environment, and have them off and running. Some of you want to know, can I run any programs you run any programs that we use now on an AI PC? Yes. I mean, for the x86 Copilot Plus PCs, every existing piece of software they're using right now will run on those systems natively. On the ARM-based ones, there is a layer of emulation. They say they have about a 99% compatibility rate with x86 software. I believe them because I haven't found one yet that hasn't worked. But I'm sure there are specialized pieces of software on x86 that probably would need additional work to get up and running in ARM. But like I said, very few and far between.
And so just to make it, so I just want to make sure I understand your answer there. So when we say x86, that's like your AMD and your Intel processors are going to run for sure, but Qualcomm is the one that's on that ARM architecture. So Qualcomm is the one where there's the emulation, and they say that they're doing a great job, but that would be the device that you would want to test run, I think, before you would commit fully to any kind of mission critical business software that might be not, kind of a large scale release.
Correct. Aaron wanted to know, is Copilot Studio just online 365 and has nothing to do with the NPU? Yes, that is. Copilot Studio is available to any system. It is an online thing. So if you've got your normal Windows 11 PC right now and you've got a Microsoft M365 license, you can go to Copilot Studio right now and start building agents for yourself. You don't need NPU or anything. That's all running within the cloud. I don't see any other questions I haven't answered, so I think we're going to call that the end of the day today. But if you guys have any additional questions, you come up with something, you think of something tonight in a cold sweat and you need to have a question answered, please feel free to reach out to me, techsolutions@dnh.com. More than happy to answer any other additional questions you have. But throw it over to you, Bill, to close us out.
Yeah, I'll play us off here. So we do want to thank all the sponsors of the program, AMD, Intel, Dell, and Microsoft. So we demonstrated products on all of their products were in play during the demos you saw today. And so our Go Big AI website was recently revamped. You'll see the link to that in the resources bar. You do have to be signed in, but it does show the most recent products, and there's a lot of stuff that you can download, and there's some things that will help you with all the vendors in the AI solutions. Today, we took a look at our endpoint, and coming up, we're going to do webinars, and the next one, I believe, is going to be more about the software and security. And then, a little bit later in the year, we're actually going to do one about database stuff too. So we're kind of working through the chain of where AI exists. So we have our endpoint devices, the stuff that you work on every day, and how can we get AI on there, and what does it look like? Next, we're going to do a lot more stuff in the cloud. It'll be primarily Microsoft focused, since that's what we have the biggest team supporting, but there's going to be some security elements to it. And then there is going to be at the end of the year, well, let's say we want to do something that's maybe a little more robust than what we can run on an endpoint. What kind of stuff can we set up on a database? And just like you saw today, the plan is for us to put together demos so we can speak from a place of experience, which Chris and his team just always do such a great job with. So I want to thank Chris for all the work he put into these demos. He is my go-to when I have a Go Big AI demo request, and he never fails to impress. So thank you, Chris, for jumping on the call. Thank you, everybody, for being great partners to D&H and joining us on the webinar today. And hopefully we will be in touch soon. See you, everybody.
Hey, cool, everyone.